The universe contains forces so immense that life on Earth is fragile in comparison. Among these forces, one star stands as a silent executioner, a celestial body whose very presence carries the power to erase life in an instant. This is not a distant threat confined to science fiction. It is a reality written into the fabric of the cosmos. Its energy output, magnetic fields, and periodic eruptions dwarf anything humanity has ever known. A stark reminder that the universe is magnificent, indifferent, and capable of instantaneous devastation. Some stars are hypergiants, dozens or even hundreds of times the mass of the Sun, burning with an intensity that accelerates their lifespans to mere millions of years. These stars are not stable. Their cores reach temperatures and pressures so extreme that nuclear fusion races out of control, producing violent flares and triggering instabilities that hurl matter and energy across light years. Should one of these stars be close enough, Earth's delicate balance of climate, magnetosphere, and atmospheric chemistry could be disrupted in ways that threaten every ecosystem. The very processes that allow life to thrive are dwarfed by the raw scale of this stellar force. Wolf-Rayet stars, evolved and unstable, embody the pinnacle of cosmic danger. Shedding outer layers, spinning rapidly, and building cores dense enough to collapse into black holes, they are the universe's ultimate ticking bombs. Their deaths are cataclysmic. A gamma-ray burst or hypernova could unleash energy that sterilizes planets across thousands of light years, erasing life in an instant. Even if Earth lies thousands of light years away, a precise alignment could make us victims of the most efficient cosmic weapon known. It is a reminder that proximity is relative in the universe. A star's reach extends far beyond its apparent distance. Even without exploding, such a star dominates its surroundings. Its gravity, magnetic fields, and stellar winds shape nearby space, altering interstellar gas clouds, distorting stellar orbits, and sending lethal streams of high-energy particles across light years. Cosmic rays from these stars constantly bombard interstellar space. On a planetary scale, they could degrade the ozone layer, disrupt climate stability, and increase radiation exposure on the surface. The universe contains predators that need not move, for their influence stretches across the void, invisible, inevitable, and deadly. If the terrifying power of these stars captivates your curiosity, 404 Altverse is where their stories unfold. Subscribe and journey with us to witness the extremes of the cosmos, where the beauty of stellar phenomena conceals lethal potential. Every calculation, observation, and theory is a glimpse into the sublime and indifferent forces that govern existence, a reminder that human life is both precious and precarious within the immensity of space. Hypergiants are not just destructive, they are reminders of the universe's raw scale. Light that reaches our telescopes today began its journey thousands of years ago, traveling across space to remind us of forces we cannot fully grasp. The violent flares and instability of these stars serve as warnings that even a star we cannot see directly has the potential to alter the balance of life in ways that exceed imagination. Humanity exists on a small, fragile island in a sea of cosmic terror, shielded by chance and distance but never immune to these stellar forces. Finally, the most terrifying aspect is not the star itself, but what it reveals about our place in the cosmos. Life on Earth exists in a delicate balance, dependent on stability that is far from guaranteed. A hypergiant or Wolf-Rayet star illustrates that the universe is indifferent to life, capable of destruction without malice or intention. Awareness of such power inspires not only fear but awe, the sublime reality that existence, civilization, and survival are provisional, fragile, and astonishing against the backdrop of the infinite cosmos. The most terrifying stars are not silent. Their radiation alone can warp the very fabric of life across vast distances. High-energy gamma rays, X-rays, and cosmic rays constantly radiate from their cores, traveling across interstellar space with relentless speed. Even before any supernova or hypernova, these invisible torrents bombard planets, altering atmospheric chemistry, breaking down molecular bonds, and destabilizing the magnetic shields that protect life. On Earth, an aligned gamma-ray burst could instantly destroy the ozone layer, exposing every living organism to lethal ultraviolet radiation. Crops would fail, ecosystems collapse, and humanity would face a rapid, inescapable crisis. The moment of explosion, however, transcends imagination. When a hypergiant reaches the end of its brief life, it can collapse catastrophically, releasing a hypernova or gamma-ray burst so powerful that its energy outstrips the sun's total output over billions of years, concentrated in a narrow, focused beam. If Earth lies in the path, the planet would be irradiated in seconds, oceans boiling, the atmosphere igniting, and life extinguished with almost no warning. This is not a science fiction scenario. It is a calculation derived from physics, from the study of massive stars, from observations of Wolf-Rayet stars like WR104, whose orientation and energy output place it among the deadliest potential threats in our galactic neighborhood. Even the gravitational influence of such stars cannot be ignored. Hypergiants are massive enough to warp space on a scale that subtly nudges other stars, gas clouds, and planetary systems. The death of one can send shockwaves through surrounding space, triggering chain reactions. Nearby stars may destabilize, planetary orbits may shift, and the delicate architecture of neighboring systems could unravel. Our solar system, though distant, could feel the effects in cumulative ways, from subtle gravitational perturbations to cascading shifts in the interstellar medium, which can alter cosmic radiation and magnetic fields reaching Earth. For human civilization, the threat is existential and immediate. Power grids, communication networks, and satellites are all calibrated for a stable sun. An incoming surge of high-energy radiation would fry electronics, render satellites useless, and disrupt global infrastructure. Life, dependent on energy balance and climate stability, would face rapid decline. Survival would demand extraordinary technological responses. Underground shelters shielded from radiation, artificial ecosystems replicating solar energy, and perhaps even relocation to orbital or interstellar habitats. The star challenges the very ingenuity of humanity, forcing adaptation on scales never before conceived. If the scale of this cosmic terror fascinates you, 404 Altverse is where these stories unfold. Subscribe and follow with us as we explore the forces that could end life instantly, the astronomical calculations behind existential threats, and the unimaginable power of stars that dominate the galaxy. Every flare, every explosion, every ripple of radiation becomes a lesson in scale, fragility, and cosmic awe. Even before any visible explosion, the approach of such a star or its radiation outbursts can trigger cascading effects. Atmospheric chemistry may shift over decades or centuries, increasing UV exposure and disrupting ecosystems. Ocean currents may alter as radiation heats layers unevenly, affecting climate and weather systems. Evolution itself, if prolonged exposure occurs, may be redirected, forcing species into extinction or adaptation under extreme stress. The star's terror is not limited to instant annihilation. It extends over time, a persistent, invisible force capable of reshaping life long before it delivers the final blow. On cosmic scales, these stars are architects of both creation and destruction. Their life cycles seed the universe with heavy elements, forging the building blocks for planets and life. Yet their power is indiscriminate. A hypergiant's beauty, brilliance, and brilliance conceal the ability to obliterate, reminding humanity that the universe is indifferent to the fragility of life. Awareness of this duality, creation through destruction, order emerging from chaos, is central to understanding our place in the cosmos. Finally, the existential weight of this reality cannot be overstated. Humanity exists in a delicate balance, reliant on distance, stability, and the chance alignment of countless cosmic factors. A single star, positioned millions of light years away yet perfectly aligned, could erase that balance in moments. Awareness of this threat is both humbling and terrifying, a reminder that life is provisional, survival contingent, and the universe operates on scales and energies far beyond comprehension. The most terrifying star is not merely a physical danger. It is a mirror reflecting our vulnerability, the limits of control, and the extraordinary courage required to comprehend the cosmos. A star capable of ending life on Earth instantly is not merely an astronomical entity. It is a force that exposes the fragility of existence itself. Its potential to destroy is absolute, yet it is indifferent, governed by physics rather than malice. If such a star were close enough to threaten Earth, the consequences would unfold in layers of escalating terror. The first signs would likely be subtle: a rise in cosmic radiation, fluctuations in magnetic fields, or disruptions in interstellar dust and plasma. Even these early whispers carry immense power, slowly undermining the stability of planetary systems, altering the chemistry of the atmosphere, and nudging the planet toward disaster long before the final act. When the hypergiant reaches the end of its life, the consequences become instantaneous. A hypernova or gamma-ray burst directed toward Earth could irradiate the planet in a matter of seconds. Ozone layers would vanish, ultraviolet radiation would scorch the surface, oceans would boil in patches, and life forms unshielded from the blast would perish almost immediately. The energy released would surpass all of humanity's cumulative technological output by orders of magnitude, concentrated in a deadly, focused beam that respects no distinction between cities, forests, or oceans. Civilization, even in its most fortified forms, would be helpless in the face of such a stellar assault. The shockwaves from the star's explosion would ripple across interstellar space, destabilizing nearby systems and potentially triggering secondary disasters. Asteroids and comets could be dislodged from distant belts, hurtling toward planetary systems in a cascading chain of destruction. Planets orbiting neighboring stars might experience gravitational perturbations, leading to orbital shifts, collisions, or ejections into interstellar space. The hypergiant is not an isolated threat. It is a cosmic architect, capable of shaping or annihilating regions of the galaxy with precision and scale that defy comprehension. For humanity, survival would require extraordinary ingenuity. Underground habitats, shielded from lethal radiation, would become sanctuaries. Artificial ecosystems replicating sunlight and heat would sustain life, while orbital stations could offer temporary refuge. Technology would become the lifeline between extinction and survival, forcing humans to adapt to conditions for which evolution never prepared them. Even the most advanced plans would be tested against the immensity of the star's power, highlighting the stark contrast between human intelligence and cosmic force. Yet the most profound terror is not merely physical, it is existential. This star, this celestial predator, underscores the provisional nature of life itself. Humanity's sense of permanence, civilization's achievements, and even consciousness are contingent upon the stability of cosmic processes that operate far beyond comprehension or control. A single alignment, a single flare, a single gamma-ray burst could render the accumulated knowledge, culture, and history of our species irrelevant in seconds. Awareness of this reality is humbling, terrifying, and awe-inspiring simultaneously. If the lethal beauty of such a star captivates your mind, 404 Altverse is the space to explore it. Subscribe and witness the full consequences of cosmic extremities, the interplay of creation and destruction, and the fragile resilience of life in the shadow of unimaginable power. Every story, every theory, every model is a journey to understand not just the universe, but the extraordinary position of humanity within it. On a broader scale, the star's existence offers a reflection on the universe itself. It is a reminder that stars are not benevolent or malevolent. They are forces that create, destroy, and reshape the cosmos. Hypergiants forge heavy elements necessary for planets and life, yet their energy output is capable of obliterating those very worlds. This duality, creation intertwined with destruction, mirrors the nature of reality itself, immense, indifferent, and supremely powerful. Life, while rare and precious, exists within a theater dominated by forces that dwarf imagination and understanding. The existential implications extend further when considered across cosmic and multiversal scales. Every star, every galaxy, every region of space-time is a reminder that stability is provisional and survival is contingent. Our universe is one of countless possibilities, and stars like hypergiants represent the tipping points where existence can pivot from flourishing to annihilation in moments. The fragility of life becomes evident not just on a planetary scale, but within a cosmic web of interactions, energy flows, and random alignments. The universe is vast, beautiful, and terrifying, and it operates without regard to human perception, ambition, or morality. Even in the aftermath, if fragments of life or civilization survive, the universe remains a place of uncertainty. Radiation, gravitational disruptions, and cascading cosmic events could continue to challenge existence for centuries or millennia. The hypergiant, though gone, leaves a legacy of transformation, altered atmospheres, destabilized planetary systems, and a universe forever changed by its power. Humanity, if it endures, would carry the memory of this terror not merely as history, but as an indelible lesson in fragility, resilience, and the immensity of cosmic forces. Ultimately, the most terrifying star is not only a force of destruction, it is a lens through which humanity confronts its own vulnerability and potential. It forces reflection on the limits of control, the depth of curiosity, and the resilience required to endure in a universe dominated by power far beyond comprehension. The star is a teacher, harsh yet magnificent, reminding us that life is both precious and precarious, and that existence itself is a fleeting miracle amidst cosmic indifference. And so, as the hypergiant burns, flares, and eventually dies, it leaves humanity with a choice: to cower in fear, or to marvel, adapt, and strive to comprehend the sublime and terrifying beauty of the universe. In that understanding lies both humility and power, a recognition that while life is fragile, consciousness can perceive, imagine, and endure even in the shadow of the most terrifying star.